Mr. Lockwood, can you hear me? Mr. Lockwood, can you unmute your mic?
Okay.
All right.
All right, good afternoon.
Hi.
Okay. This is file 23798LT. It's entitled Vernon and Ellen Castle versus Gary Lockwood. Mr. Lockwood, who's there with you?
Blank Heather Leffler.
Your girlfriend?
Who's that? Heather Leffler? She lives there also?
Yeah, she's here. Yeah, she lives here.
All right. This is your uncle Vernon's house, and he wants you to move out.
Right.
It's on 131.
Yeah.
And Mr. Robert Dutka is here on behalf of the landlord, who happens to be your uncle.
Right.
And let me advise you what your rights are. So, all right, just a moment. As a defendant in a landlord-tenant proceeding, including termination of tenancy, which is what this is, you have the following legal rights. You have the right to obtain counsel for representation in this matter. If you cannot afford an attorney, a legal aid attorney may be available to help you. And she was here, but I accidentally removed her. You have a right to a trial by a jury or by the court. If the action is for non-payment of rent, which this isn't, it would go in a different direction. If the plaintiff is agreeable, the Citizens Mediation Services, Inc. may be available as a possible source of case resolution. If both parties are interested, the court can help set it up. If the plaintiff, or excuse me, if you do reach an agreement with the plaintiff and a consent judgment is entered by the court, you would waive the rights listed above but have the following additional rights. The judgment may not be enforced until 3 business days had passed. You could move to set aside the judgment within those 3 days if you misunderstood what you consented to, what you were waiving. Your motion to set aside the judgment would be set for a landlord-tenant hearing in front of the judge. But if the judge, namely me, did not find in your favor, the original judgment would stand. Mr. Robert Dutka is here on behalf of the plaintiff, as I indicated. This is filed as a termination of tenancy. The notice to quit was back in April. What's your position, Mr. Lockwood?
I'm very confused, sir,
Okay. Why?
because I've never had a lease at all. He got me this place because I was working with him at another house, going through a divorce, having a hard time, and he was actually helping me out. I didn't understand why we were having to go to court and all this, because he could have talked a few times. And
All right, well, he wants you to move, and he's
Different,
asked
it's
you to
weird.
move since April.
right,
So what's your
He
position?
was giving us a runaround about how much he was selling the house for.
I want to pay him as soon as I get money to pay him. I'm gonna catch everything up to him. I don't know.
He's not asking you to pay any money. He's just asking you to
No,
move
but
out.
I
Yeah,
offered
but
to
for me,
buy-
it's like a
I
weird thing.
offered to,
So I was just put here to get in trouble or something? Like people just put me here to get me in trouble? Because that's what he did. I had no lease agreement with him.
All right, well, do you pay any rent?
No.
he has been though. He has been.
I mean,
He
I
gave
did.
his
I
uncle
worked
his
for
whole
him. I
check.
worked for him.
All right,
a little
all
bit.
right, all right. You have no lease, you don't pay rent, and he wants you to move. So this is the process you use to do that. So in the old days, you'd have 10 days to move or you'd be subject to being evicted. Now, you and your brother just got in a big fight. Was that at this house or was that someplace
sir.
else?
I was here. I was here. He hit me with the dresser
right.
drawer in the back of the head.
Well, he wants you
It
to
wasn't much of
move.
a fight, considering
You were walking.
I was
away.
walking away from him, sir.
Okay, well, I don't know what's confusing about this. You're living there. It's not your house. You don't own it. You're not paying rent. And he wants you to
Yeah, but
move
he
away.
put me here. I don't understand why he.
All right, well, he doesn't want you there anymore.
Well, it's
So
not
we're gonna,
right.
I'm buying the place. He can't, he's.
That's what we're getting at right here. Whose decision is it?
well, it'll be mine in 10 days. I'm gonna continue this
Okay,
until
I'll be out here in 10 minutes.
July 10th at 2:15. Now, Miss
I'll be out
Lafler,
here
can
in
you
10
hear
minutes.
me?
I got you. Yeah. Yeah,
All
sorry.
right, now, I guess if you agree to sell it, but
You want me
he
to sell it to
doesn't
you?
want you as a tenant. He wants you to move out. Maybe he can sell it to somebody that can actually buy it. I don't know. I know he's your uncle. I know he helped you in the past.
It's a real weird
But-
thing.
He's hired a lawyer to put you in a circumstance to move. He told you back in April, he wanted you to move.
I have morals.
and have it
I believe in
moved.
moral
What?
science. Remember that.
Babe.
What's that?
I believe in moral science, sir. Remember that.
Well, okay.
We're not gonna have to move quicker, you dumbass.
It's okay. I'm just saying. I'm getting out of this.
Okay.
house. I don't have. I don't
All
know if
right.
I'll be out
Well,
here.
for both of you, you're obviously struggling.
I'm not struggling at all, sir.
Well, you're about to be homeless.
About to be fixed.
On July 10th, if he gets what he asked for, you're gonna have 10 more days to move.
I'm
so
gonna
you should-
Get it.
Prepare to move by July 20th.
Okay.
All right, I'll see you next week, July 10th at 2:15.
Okay.
All right. All right, our next matter is Vernon and Ellen Castle versus Gary Lockwood. Also, there was Heather Lafler. Mr. Lockwood, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Is Heather there with you today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good.
Judge, can Mr. McKee leave?
I think he did.
Okay, he's still on the screen, so.
Oh, all right, there he is. Mr. McKee, yeah, you're good to go. I'll remove you.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt, Judge.
That's all right, thanks. I didn't realize he was there.
Thanks.
All right, this is entitled, as I said, Vernon and Ellen Castle versus Gary Lockwood. Also present is Heather Lafler. This is a termination of tenancy case. Mr. Castle wants Mr. Lockwood to move out of this property on 131. Mr. Lockwood didn't really like that much, didn't want to move, but we continued the matter until today. Mr. Lockwood, what's your position?
I mean, I got my stuff back. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going yet.
You've got the light behind you. I can hardly see you. If you could move where you don't have the light straight behind you.
I don't work either, does it?
Face this way.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's good. You cut your hair.
Yeah.
People keep asking me when I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I just did it.
All right, what's your position?
I'm just don't have nowhere to go yet. I'm trying to get a storage unit to put my stuff in, I guess.
All right, well, you got 10 days to move.
All right. Okay.
You seem much less agitated today than when I talked to you last week. You went to jail in the meantime for something and you got a case coming up, but I was pleased to see you weren't in custody. You have 10 days to move.
Okay. Yeah, I went to jail for trying to get people out of here so they didn't try to be like squatters after I left there.
Well, you certainly don't want any squatters in there. Nobody does. So, and that you'll have an attorney on that and they'll help you with that. But I find by hearing Gary Lockwood and others and all occupants have until July 20th, which is 10 days from today, to move or you're subject to being evicted. I'm not entering any money judgment here today.
Okay.
You also have until July 20th to appeal this. Mr. Dutka, you sent me a judgment. Do you have anything else to add?
No, sir. I think you've covered it. Thank you. I'm glad you got the judgment.
All right, Mr. Lockwood, anything else or any questions that you have?
No, I just didn't mean any ill will with my family as well.
All right, you have 10 days to move or you're subject to being evicted. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. That was much less contentious than the last week, so that was a plus. All right, thank you.
You bet.
Mr. Castle, after 10 days, you can get your house back, hopefully.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank